Greetings and welcome to welcome to Growth Hacking Secrets. I'm your host Mohammed Siddique from Atlanta, Georgia, and the co-author of New Success Secrets available on Amazon. On this episode, we have a special guest, Bill Hoversten. Bill is an actor, writer, producer, and stand-up comedian and podcast host. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Bill Hoversten. Bill, welcome.
Thank you, Siddique. Thank you so much.
Bill, thank you so much. Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to become a stand-up comedian?
What caused me to become a stand-up comedian?
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick answer.
Yeah.
Ever since I was in, oh my gosh, I can't think, maybe middle school, I always admired the guy. There would be a guy that would come up with a comment, and it would crack everybody up, just something off the cuff. And he would say something, everybody off. And I always thought, I'd like to be that guy, or I'd like to be like that guy. And finally, I had an opportunity to just make the decision to go for it and to learn stand-up comedy. And it's all incidents that are from my life, real things. It's clean comedy, nothing, some comedians lean on four-letter words. I don't. So it's just stuff from my life, and it seems to be getting a good response.
Oh, that's good. However, where do you go and learn all this? Because mostly you have to practice in front of the live audience, because this is something you can't really practice it in your own kind of living room.
I studied with Jody Miller, and she's a stand-up comedian who's been doing it for years, and she's also the head content creator for a TV show where she supervises about 25 writers. And she really helped me hone my material and just make it short and sweet. And then I come up with stuff all the time out of my own life.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Maybe if you allow me, I may ask you to do a little one clean joke in front of
well, sure.
Not now, but I'm going to ask you in a moment. Let's keep engaging, hooked.
I'd be happy to do it. Thanks.
Yeah, no, thank you. So based on your years of working as a actor, writer, producer, and stand-up comedian, I would like to share that where you can share your experience in terms of mistakes to avoid and failure and success secrets. And here's my question.
Yes.
What are your top three mistakes to avoid as a stand-up comedian to be successful in this?
To be successful in stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would say one thing is, don't assume that what's funny for you will be funny for everybody. You may laugh at it, but you want to make sure that your audience connects with it. So there have been times maybe that I have done that and then not gotten the laughs. And then I'll think, what went wrong? Ask myself, what went wrong with that bit? People, if they sat there and they smiled, but they didn't laugh, well, they're halfway there, but they're not fully with you. So I would say that's one thing. Don't make assumptions. Yeah. Another thing would be don't push when you're doing comedy. If they don't get it, if they're not there, don't keep hoping or trying to get that. Just go with the people who are laughing already. The ones who are kind of puzzled and didn't really get it, maybe they'll come along later. Just go ahead, do your thing, and speak to the people who are responding. And let's see, I would say a third mistake would be, it's tough. I can't think of a third mistake. I'm trying right now, but in comedy,
yeah,
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, we can try and as a podcast host, that's okay too, So based on your experience, so what's one mistake to avoid?
Oh, in other things, other things I've done. Let me see.
Just pick
Okay.
up anyone, because we want to learn from your experience what not to do.
Okay. Well, I would say here's if I'm working, if there's somebody that I have to work with whose habitual mindset is toxic or abusive, and I'm sure we've all known people like this.
Yeah.
Be it a coach or an agent or a coworker or whoever it might be, even if it's a supplier or a customer of yours in your business, I would say get out of there. Just get out of there if you can. Switch suppliers. Drop them and get somebody else as a client if you can afford to do that. And don't rationalize about the amount of time or money that you've already invested. Oh geez, I've got, it's throwing good money after bad. So I would say see them as giving you, see that person as giving you drop after drop after drop of poison. And I would avoid that.
Is that the reason why 60% divorce rate is there?
Why 60% what?
Divorce rate, almost 58 point something divorce, people get divorced. Is that the reason?
I have no idea, but maybe. Yes.
Okay, cool. So as a stand-up comedian, I'm sure you failed few times at least, especially in early days, if not now. So do you mind sharing your single most professional greatest failure as a comedian profession? What did you learn from it, and how did you recover from that?
What I've learned and the lessons that I've learned from stand-up comedy, is that what you're saying?
What is your single most greatest failure as a stand-up comedian?
Oh,
what did you learn and how did you recover? Just pick up any incident. I'm sure.
3 biggest failures.
One greatest failure.
The one greatest failure as a stand-up comedian. Gosh, it's having super high expectations, having an attachment to expectations. I'll give you an example. When you are booked at a particular venue, they expect you to bring in a certain number of customers to watch you. This is often the way it goes. That's the deal. You get the time, but you got to help bring the audience. And each one of the comedians who's booked that night is doing the same thing. So I had one night, and I was at the Ice House in Pasadena. It's the oldest comedy club in the United States. Really, the top performers have all worked there. And I had only 6 people come who I had invited. That was all that came. There were 9 people who had promised they were going to be there and didn't show up for different reasons. One was a group of 3 people that got stuck in Palm Springs and couldn't make it back on time. Another was 2 women that were coming. Instead, one of them broke her leg, so they had to go to the hospital instead of to see me. It's like, it just added up. There were 9 people. So I went in supremely confident to tell the producer, I got 15 people that'll be here tonight. Only 6. Boy, I looked bad. I really looked bad like I did. So how did I recover from it? I just had to, as I say, just suck it up. Just go, okay, all right, I'll do better next time. And just make that self-vow and that self-promise, and just know that I can do it and not worry about what comes.
Wonderful. That's a great recovery,
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So let's switch the side. Let's talk about your successes. What are the top 3 success secrets of your, based on your own experience?
Well, I'd like to talk, in addition to comedy, I do other things too. As you noted there, down here, yeah. I'm an actor and writer and podcast host also. So if I could just mention one of those as a writer and producer, I made a short film called Mother's Day Memories, and you can see that mothersdaymemories.com. It has a website, and people could actually watch this 15-minute film. It's the first time, Siddique, that I ever wrote and produced a film, and I was in it. So it has done well in some film festivals, and I have to tell you, it was a contender this year for an Academy Award nomination.
Oh.
It did not make the short list, but I was in the game. I had a chip, I was at the table, and I was in the game. So that's, I'm pretty jazzed about that. And that was a whole process of bringing together this team. I made it a SAG signatory production, which raises it to another level. Just a lot of great experiences about that.
Wonderful. That's one secret of success. We need two more.
Well, I would say don't assume that these people that you're bringing together to make this great team, that they're all going to be contributing what you know they can. Now, what I mean by that is ask them ahead of time and spell out exactly what they're going to do. Yeah. Now, I know this guy can edit and he can do music and everything else. He's coming on board to do something. Spell it out ahead of time. Is he also going to edit? Is he also going to provide the music? Is that part of the agreement? Don't just assume because he can do it and he's excited about the project that he will be contributing that. Got to find that out ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. One more.
Okay. I would say make allowance for somebody to decide how and whether to come on board. I might say to myself, this person has every reason to join this project. Why wouldn't they? It'll look good on their resume, but I'm doing the thinking for them.
Yeah.
They have to decide for themselves, this is going to be a good match for me. I'm excited about working with Bill. Let them come to that decision.
Yeah, guide them to make that decision instead. Don't make the decision for them. That's what you meant to say.
Yeah, or don't assume that they're going to, that they probably will. Don't make the assumption, and certainly don't push to make that happen.
Wonderful. Before we are about to wrap up, however, I promised my audience that you do some while.
Sure.
Stand-up comedian right now. Comedy can be done right on Zoom or StreamYard, wherever platform you're using online. You would like to share with us, enlighten all of us?
Oh, I'd be happy to. Yeah. Hopefully entertain too. But I will tell you, since I'm in the entertainment business, I have to share something with you, Siddique. Yeah. Last year, I got a hit in Hollywood. Actually, let me rephrase. I got hit in Hollywood by a car when I was crossing the street. It hit me below the leg. My head shattered the windshield. I spun up in the air, and I came down on the road. I wish somebody had recorded that. Not for insurance, but for my demo reel. I could start a career as a stuntman. The ambulance, they take me to the hospital. That Siddique cost $1,600. I should have taken an Uber, right? Yeah. So they pull me into the ER, and now on my bed, over my bed, I got 7 people standing over me, looking down at me, and pulling off my pants. Sexy, right? It's a hospital. So they do a CAT scan, find I don't have any cats. They x-ray me till I'm cooked medium rare. They say that I broke this bone, the fibula. No fib, but at least it wasn't my funny bone, so I can laugh about it. Then the cops bring in this woman they've arrested who's screaming obscenities, and they put her in the bed next to mine. Once she's medically released, they take her away for booking. So she got a booking in Hollywood, almost as good as a hit in Hollywood. Well, that was my big break. But I've learned some things about Hollywood. If they say a car will pick you up, make sure you're inside the car. If they say you're going to be in the cast, make sure it's not a leg cast.
Yeah.
And most importantly, Siddique, if they say break a leg, don't.
Thank you so much, Bill. You
Certainly.
are not as good as you think. You are better. I can tell you for sure this one. Bill,
Great.
we are about to wrap up. On with the people on a Growth Hacking Secret Show, what they're watching right now, how they can support you, how they can outreach to you.
Well, yes, there. I have a couple of besides my website. I also have a website for the film. They can go there and watch it and make comments. That's mothersdaymemories.com.
Mhm.
And for the podcast, I do a podcast too. Not as good as yours, but I'm working on it. And that's butyou'renotfunny.com. It's available on all audio podcast platforms and on YouTube.
Mhm.
And I have some amazing guests.
Wonderful. And you mentioned about amazing guests lined up, and you probably can get one more guest. You already know that who that person is. You
Yes, I probably can.
You just met a few minutes ago. So, by the way, that's me.
We will talk. We will talk. Yes.
Definitely. Bill, really appreciate it very much. We are about to wrap up, and I like to ask this question as your testimonial for the show. And what would you say about your today's guest experience on a Growth Hacking Secret Show?
My experience on Siddique's show was fun. It was fun, and it was engaging. It was a great time. I learned about I heard his professionalism and his enthusiasm about what he does, and that's contagious. Thank you.
Thank you for your kind words. Really appreciate it. Bill, what would you say as a final word?
As the final word, I would say there's a statement that Abraham Lincoln made, and he said that you're only as happy as you make up your mind to be. So might as well make up your mind to be happy.
Yeah, make up your mind to be happy. Thank you so much, Bill, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Secrets community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. This is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Thank you.